Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, cats, and dogs. Welcome to tonight's broadcast of Sector 1 Sim Racing Season 9, the M3 Challenge. Proudly brought to you tonight by Boxer Beauty. I am Carbon Boy here tonight in the comms box, and joining me tonight we have two very special guests, one in the form of a race director and the other in the form of a roving pit lane reporter. Our race director tonight is none other than the man himself, Spitzy. Care to say hello, Spitzy?
Good evening, all.
And roaming around in pit lane at the moment, our special comms tonight is none other than, well, I could call him a few things, but I'll be very nice and I will simply introduce him as my teammate at APR Motorsport, Lenosis. Lenosis, how are you this evening?
Hello, everybody. After rocking up last week doing the 2 hours, I am keen as ever to get back into the Cobs box and watch another night of awesome racing. I'm just roaming around the pits tonight, having a look at who pulls in to put on what tyre when, because there are a bunch of strategies floating around tonight. Saw a lot of variation last week, but in Division 1. So very interesting to see how people tackle the 2-hour challenge this evening.
Perfect. You're a glutton for punishment, aren't you? 2 hours of racing last week and then back here again for another 2 hours. Might be less
And I'm
stressful
in the
for you
comms
this week.
box. Yeah, I'm in the comms box again next week as well. I'm streaming Div 3, so yeah, 6 out of the 8 hours for this round.
Not bad. That's pretty good. I wouldn't say average, but accumulation. That's the word I'm looking for. I'll go with that. But speaking of the track tonight, we are here at the beautiful Monza circuit in Italy. Hang on, let me check my geography. Yes, that is correct. We will have a look at the track map now, I think. Count the corners, not that many. But you've got your beautiful, nice, long main straight into Retifolio. Then you take the giant sweeping right-hander known as Curva Grande into the second chicane of Della Roggia. Then the double right-handers through the Curva de Lesmos onto the back straight, which I'm going to struggle with that pronunciation of Seraglio, into a very tricky high-speed chicane as Ascari, and then down a very short, relatively short back straight into the final turn, formerly known as Parabolica, but tonight it will be known as Albert. For those of you who may remember back a season or so ago, Lenosis and myself in the comms box doing the Monza race, we weren't happy with the new name that was given to it by the track organisers and the FIA, so we've just decided to give it the nickname of Albert, and we're sticking with that. So, too bad to the FIA. Sorry, we're doing our own thing.
And I've just got word from the Switchblade Garage that we have a late scratching tonight in the form of Morgan Davey. He was set to make his return to Sector 1 after missing the first half of the season. He's back racing with his historic team, which he's enjoyed so many seasons with. But unfortunately, he's had some technical difficulties and will be sitting out for tonight's 2-hour enduro, unfortunately. So that leaves us with 11 officially on tonight's grid. We are missing the two REM drivers of Levenspiel and Tim DeRags, as they missed the Div 1 race. So it would be the Category 2 fill-ins, but unfortunately REM unable to field any teams points fill-ins for this evening. So we are left with 11 for tonight's race.
That took the wind out of my sails a bit of my announcement. I was quite excited to announce the return of Morgan back to Switchblade Racing. So instead, I will mention that we do have several fill-in drivers tonight. We have Excel filling in for Scooter McGavin at Dadson Racing. We have Sizzling Sausage filling in for Boy Bagum. Black Rose, please correct me if I get anything wrong here in terms of team names. And we have Budsy filling in for Black Friday at Red Mist Racing tonight. So I'm keen to see how these guys will go stepping into a Div 2 driver's shoes. We have seen in the past that there have been drivers from lower divisions who've managed to step up a division or two in some, or three in some cases, and have managed to hold their own more than adequately. So I'm rather excited to see how they'll go tonight. Get moving on to the strategy for tonight. There are several options available to the drivers. Now, we did see a bit of a variety of this last week in the Division 1 race. There is your basic 3-stop strategy where you're going to run 22 laps, pit, run another 22, pit, and then run, depending if you'll make 65 or 66 laps, you'll be running 22 laps again. Or you can, sorry, that was a 2-stop strategy, my bad. The 3-stop strategy is a little bit different, in which you will run a shorter 16-lap stint at the start, then run 17, 16 and 17. You can mix it up a little bit depending on how you go with your tyres, but that is the general rule of thumb. Or there is the slightly more aggressive 4-stop strategy, where it's a 13, 13, 13, 13, 14 lap stints. So if you've got the pace to make that work and make up for lost time that you will cop for having the extra pit stop, and can make that up in terms of not losing time on track due to worn out tyres, then that will be most advantageous to you. And to be perfectly honest, considering how not great I am personally with tyre wear, that is certainly on my agenda to try out when I race next week.
Yeah, the biggest thing between the 3-stop and the 4-stop is that the 3-stop, you've got those two 17-lap stints, and you lose a lot of time, as that stint, that last lap in those 17-lap stints are basically on completely worn tyres. You see the tyres drop off 3 to 4, in the last 3 to 4 laps of those stints, and when it all adds up, you've got 5 different stints using those tyres on the 4-stop, and the laps add up, and it can end up quicker in the long run. But as we saw with Div 1, only half of the grid actually made it to 66 laps, with the other half only making 65. So for these Div 2 guys, and perhaps the Category 2 guys running in the next 2 weeks, we could see that 3-stop as a more enticing option, as you only have to run one 17-lap stint if you would only do 65 laps as opposed to the 66 that we saw in Div 1.
Now, we'll just take a quick look at the point standing for Category 1. And looking in your column on the right-hand side, we've got, well, at the top of that, Banana, who is has been replaced by Morgan at Switchblade Sim Sports. Then we've got CPJ 50, CP Motorsports, Heafy for Red Mist Racing, GTR for Blacklight Motorsport, Diswood for CP Motorsports, Hodes for Hooncorp, Gur for Doghouse Motorsport, Boy Bagum, who is unfortunately unavailable tonight for Black Rose Racing, but having Sausage step in for him for team points only. And remembering that being an endurance round, it is a double point situation, which does include team points, not just individual drivers. So that can help offset the damage of having a driver out for the round. Then we have Blind Man for Hooncorp Esports, Scooter having Excel fill in tonight for him at Dadson, Black Friday, who is unfortunately no longer racing here at Sector 1, but we wish him all the best in his future endeavours. Mr. Bumcrack for Kraken Esports, the TO himself, the racing accountant, aka the taxman for Symmetry, and Artsy also racing for Symmetry. I think those two drivers tonight will be very keen to try and make up some of the points that they unfortunately do not have at this stage. So
now, a race win tonight will be 36 points, with 2 points for pole position and 1 point for fastest lap. So that means that GTR, Woody, Hodes, and Gur, if they take a full points haul tonight, do have the opportunity to jump all the way up to Division 1. So that'll be very, very interesting to see.
Wow, gotta love a double points round. It definitely throws a spanner in the works. But I think that might just be enough waffling on from us tonight here. Well, so far here in the comms box. How about Spitzy, Mr. Race Director Extraordinaire? How about you push that big red button and we can get qualifying underway?
Let's do it.
I think I just saw Racing Accountant duck to the toilet out the back of the Symmetry garage down here. So I think he's got to get to his car real quick, otherwise he's going to be missing qualifying.
There's always one, isn't there? There's every race. There's always that one guy who needs to just go to the. I mean, it's going to be a 2-hour race, so you know your bathroom break. That was a very quick bathroom break, as he appears to be sprinting back to his car. So if we can get him ticked in and strapped in, buckled up, everything good to go. That big red button has been pushed, and we will have qualifying underway.
Not quite yet, sorry.
Oh no. Have we had some technical issues with the timing system? Unfortunately,
That's what it looks like on my monitor.
Yeah, unfortunately, since GT7 no longer has an official timing sponsor, there has been some shortcomings in regards to the timing systems used, but you know, bust out the rubber mallet, give that box a bit of a smack, and hopefully it'll all be up and running again. And speaking of giving things a smack, we have currently 20-something viewers on the YouTube stream. How about you guys get to smacking that like button for us, and even possibly, if you haven't already, smack that subscribe button as well, and you will get those live notifications of when we go live. Wow, that didn't work out too well. That's okay. Alright, do we have all the drivers good to go again? Yes, the big button has been pushed. Take number 2 on qualifying will be underway very shortly, so get yourselves comfy, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, etc.
Now, quite interesting is I've just been talking to everybody around the paddock tonight, and there's a few mixed opinions on who people are going to think are going to take this evening's race. Of course, there's the GTR camp, always looking strong, but we've also got quite a few people going for Woody in tonight's race. I think he's got enough in the tank to go all the way and take P1 this evening.
Well, Woody definitely has been a strong performer in the past, and despite, I guess, what you could call the disadvantage of being on controller in terms of tyre wear, still manages to hold his own and manage that tyre wear relatively well, so that he doesn't suffer in the long term. And short term, his pace is definitely nothing to be sneezed at. So, whoop, car's out on track. Someone's already had a bit of a moment in the form of Blindman, but out on track at the moment is GTR for Blacklight Motorsport, followed by RC for Symmetry Motorsports in a new livery that they've just slapped on the car in the last week and a bit. It's looking quite nice, to be honest. I certainly don't disagree with it. Next
So I just had a walk down to the Hooncorp garage as well, and they have bigger screens up of what happened to Blindman, and he just lost it through the first Lesmo, hit that inside wall, but the damage has cleared itself, so the mechanics pretty happy they don't have to work on that car at the start of this qualifying session.
Sounds like there might be a quick bumper swap between qualifying and the race. Next on track is Diswood for CP Motorsports, unfortunately with a half-second track limit penalty by the looks of things. Sitting in his slipstream is the taxman himself, from also rocking that new Symmetry Motorsports livery. Then we've got Blind Man with a slightly dinged up front bumper on the Corp sports car, but that's alright. They appear to be readying a new one down in the pit lane garage. And we've got one of our fill-in drivers for tonight for Red Mist Racing in the form of Budsy. And there is the plumber himself, team owner of Kraken Esports, Mr. Bumcrack. Also cycling around, not going for any slipstream advantage, is Gur for Doghouse Motorsports. Another of our fill-in drivers tonight for Black Rose is Sizzling Sausage, and our other fill-in driver for tonight for Dadson Racing is Excel, and then right at the very back is Hodes. Clearly happy to just find his own space on track, not worry about any slipstream, any of that nonsense. Just wants to put his head down and do the very best lap that he can. So for people in the
Just
YouTube
standing up on the pit wall at the moment, and I see GTR coming around final corner towards the start-finish line. Oh, that's a lovely sound. He flies by me.
With a 147.174. I'm probably not the most experienced to be able to tell you if that is a quick lap time or not. Lenosis, how does that compare to how you and the other Div 1 boys were circulating last week?
I believe pole position was a 46.7 with a 10th separating the top 5. So they're a little bit away, these Div 2 guys, but they're only just getting warmed up. For a first flyer, a 47.1 with this wind direction is absolutely incredible.
Well, we might have to ask in the YouTube chat what old mate John, the champ, thinks of the wind here tonight at Monza, whether it's good, whether it's bad. As Artsy's put for Symmetry Motorsports has put himself into P2 with a 147.432, and just a hair's breadth behind him in the form of less than 300ths of a second is Budsy for RMR, who's unfortunately just copped a 1 second penalty for exceeding the track limits. I would say that would be at, do not shoot me, the Della Roggia chicane. I imagine that would be where he's picked up that penalty. And he will have to serve that this lap, so unfortunately that's this lap completely done and dusted for him. The Taxman has put himself into P4 at the moment with a 147.505. Let's see if he can improve on this as he comes out of Albert. No, he will not improve on that. Must have had a bit of a moment. He's 2 seconds down. GDR.
Down at the Blacklight Garage here, we have two guys coming in. I can see further down we have GTR in the pits, and Woody is also pitting for a fresh set of tyres. Budsy is peeled in as well. So hopefully these guys leave enough sets for the race.
I've just noticed Blindman's got his hazards on. Wonder if something's gone wrong with the car.
Uh-oh, that's never good.
Oh, no, hang on, they're off. Okay, I think he's going back full speed.
Let's see how he goes through the... Oh, he's picked up a half-second penalty through the Della Roggia. He's had a bit of a moment entering the first of the Lesmo. I think it might be safe to say that this lap will not be a cracker for him. And I've just noticed that Diswood is noticeably absent from the top of the timesheets, currently sitting down in P10. His first flyer was a 148.7, so not the best first flyer for him. But he has pitted and thrown on a fresh set of racing soft tyres, so it is entirely likely he's saving himself for later in the qualifying session. But with less than 3 minutes to go, you don't think he wants to muck around too much.
So I just heard a massive roar of cheering, and I've wandered down to see what it was. And it's the Dadson Racing Garage, as their Division 3 championship contender has just gone P1, provisional pole position, in a Division 2 race.
With
So, all the mechanics have already whipped out the beers, and they're very happy with the performance of the young bloke so far in this session. Not long to go.
And with a lap of a 146.832, which is not far off the Division 1 qualifying time, yeah, I'd be fairly happy. I wouldn't be breaking out the celebratory beers just yet. I think that might be a little bit premature.
Well, their major sponsor is Bacchus, so I think they've got it on tap down there.
He might have, didn't do too great on that last lap. So I think he might have 2 more chances with the amount of time left. Does have a Black Rose driver, I believe that is Sizzling Sausage there, who I believe has just come out of the pits with a fresh set of tyres. So he might have a little bit of a hold up there if he's not careful. GDR sitting in P3 at the moment. He's 7/10ths down on his best time, so I don't see him setting a new fast lap this lap. And he's got Artsy firmly in his slipstream, who's currently sitting P2 on the grid. He's 600ths ahead of GTR.
So I've just had a word with Good Doc down at the Blacklight Garage, and he says that this was a preparation lap for GTR. He's putting all of his eggs in one basket. He's doing one final push lap, and the simulations are saying it should be good enough for a pole position if he can get that done. So let's see what it is for GTR on this lap.
Comes through Curva Grande. We'll have a look at the sector split and see how he's faring. Oh, that is a little bit down. It's only 1/10, so not the end of the world, but it's not the way you want to start your lap. So I tell you what, the fill-in drivers tonight have been doing exceptionally well. You've got oh, GDR's binned it. He has lost the back end coming out of the second Lesmo, and that front end has made some serious contact with the inside wall. I think P3 is going to be as high up the starting grid as he is going to be able to make it. That is unfortunate. The all the eggs in the one basket strategy not quite paying off. But as I was saying, our fill-in drivers tonight are currently P1, P4, P5. That is an incredible effort tonight.
As Artsy comes across the line, and I think that's going to be pole position for the Dadson guys. A huge round of applause erupts from the garage down here. Absolute scenes at the Dadson garage. Not many cars left across the line.
Buzzy still P4. Got Sizzling Sausage coming around Albert. What can he do? Can he improve his position? He does! Sausage moves up to P4 with a 147.255. 256. It's a thousandth of a second. Does it really matter? Well, that was an interesting qualifying session, to say the least. Quite a few surprises going on there. Gentlemen, thoughts?
One thing I've noticed is, yeah, Excel was the only one who managed to get a lap in below a minute 47. As not having really witnessed a Group 1 race last week, how does that compare to the drivers in that grid?
A tenth slower, a tenth off the Div 1 pole time. That would have been good enough for about 6th in Div 1.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Excel's showing great promise there.
Wow. That's
3 tenths at the top as well. That's a massive margin back to Artsy. Excel will be
Rightio.
very happy with that. So will Dadson down in the Dadson garage.
Alright, so we will just have a quick review of the qualifying results. Sitting on pole position is Excel with a 146.832. A couple of tenths behind in P2 is Artsy. Now in the second row of the grid you've got GTR and Sizzling Sausage. Third row of the grid will be Budsy and the Taxman. Fourth row of the grid, good to see him making his way a little bit further up the order, is Diswood and Blind Man. On the fifth row of the grid there will be Gurr and Hodes, and rounding out the starting grid tonight will be Mr. Bumcrack. I think he might be a little bit disappointed at the P11 position tonight, but knowing the plumber like I do, he's... what's the description I'm looking for here? He's a very strategic driver, so over the course of the race, I would not count him out of this whatsoever. I anticipate seeing him finishing a little bit further up the order than his starting position. So, people in the chat, if you'd care to throw in your top 3 predictions for tonight, in no particular order, we will see how that pans out for you all.
With 2 hours ahead of racing action, anything can happen. It's all well and good to be quick over 1 lap, but are you able to tackle 65 of them, 66 of them? We'll have to wait and see, especially with that pace at the top 4 Excel. If he can hold that all race long, he'll be looking at a very good race. But he just needs to keep himself safe, stay on the black stuff, within the white lines to avoid those pesky track limit penalties. And I mean, in 2 hours' time, Dadson Racing could be celebrating a Category 1 race win down here.
I think they would be incredibly excited with that, but we are going to have to wait another 2 hours to find out the result of that. But speaking of which, Mr. Race Director Spitzy, shall we kick things off?
Absolutely. Let's do this.
Alright, ladies and
Alright.
gentlemen, I hope you've had a toilet break yourselves, you've got your drinks, you've got your snacks. We are in for 2 hours of action here at the Temple of Speed itself, Monza. And the cars are lining up on the grid. Bit of lights flashing going on. I'm really hoping that there will be no chaos. And they're underway. Lenosis, care to help me out a little bit here?
Absolutely. So they head down towards the first turn. They're 4 wide in the back row. We have Guru, Woody accounted, and Blind Man. Do they keep it all narrow? Oh, Saucy just ran out the back of GTR. Oh, they've all made it through cleanly though. Everybody's still facing the right way. That's what you like to see. Bumcrack seems like he got a little bit checked up there and he's dropped further off the back of the field, but Artsy has taken the lead of the race. Excel there in second place at the moment, and a massive 1.5 seconds back to Sizzling Sausage, who gets his Black Rose racing car up into third place. Budsy looking for a move. Blind Man drops to fifth. Woody down in sixth with GTR in seventh. GTR's dropped 4 positions off the race start there. There may have been a little bit of contact with Sausage, but he got stuck up on that Sausage curb coming through the Redifia chicane, and he's dropped all the way back to 7th place. This is going to be a huge recovery drive for GTR.
Yep, there was a lot of general bumping and jostling going on there through the first part of this lap, but no major contact, no cars facing the wrong direction, which is always good to see.
On penalty watch though, Racing Accountant has picked up a half-second penalty somewhere along there, and he's going to be serving it now. So I imagine he'll drop to the back of the pack here with Bumcrack and Hodes not too far behind, scrapping for the final positions of this field. The Accountant might even be luckier and hold on to 8th place over Gurr. He does too.
Just following this little battle pack of, well, it's sort of 3rd to 8th right now, following down the main straight. Let's see what happens in the slipstream for these guys. Is anyone going to make it?
Well, GTR's already making moves, and he's got Blind Man in the straight coming down towards the Redifia chicane. He got it before the start-finish line, actually, so a poor exit from Blind Man there.
GDR makes his way up to P6. There will be some cheering going on there and some enthusiasm in the Blacklight garage. How are we doing out the front there, Spitzy? How are Artsy and Excel going?
So there's only about 0.08 of a second between the two, so fairly close. Excel's got about a second lead over Sausage, who is leading, of course, the sort of third to 7th battle pack, I would say, at the moment. Blind Man's made up a bit of a lead over Hodes and Ape, so yeah, definitely, yeah, 5-car battle for third. Yeah, Excel and RC is still very much pulling away from that pack. See how they go for the rest of this. I could wonder how long they're going to stay up front for. How much distance they're going to make, or that sort of thing.
Just wondering if Artie's looking to just make a bolt for it and try and break the slipstream nice and early, and then I guess we'll have to wait and see what kind of strategy he's onto tonight, whether he's doing a 2-stop, a 3-stop, a 4-stop. Maybe he wants to throw some variety in, prove me wrong, like drivers like to do, and possibly even pull a 5-stop, as there is a little bit of action going on down here with Diswood making a move on Budsy. He's got the inside line for turn 1, pulls it up nicely, takes the position, positions the car very nicely onto the second apex, and says, thank you very much, I will have P4.
Speaking of strategy, we see P8, 9, 10 and 11 headed by Hodes. They're all relatively close here, but they're 4.5 seconds off the back of Blind Man. And I can tell just from the noises that Hoon Corp car is making that there's definitely a little bit of short shifting going on with Hodes. So could he be going for the 3-stop or even the 2-stop, dare I say? Shifting a lot earlier than that top 7 is. Everyone in that top 7 pretty much revving it out, giving it as much as they want. So no real concern for petrol up the front of the field.
When you pay for the whole tachometer, you are going to use the whole tachometer, appears to be their strategy.
Absolutely. We're judging by the pace as well. You see a 1:47.8 for Artsy. That's reasonable race pace at the moment. If he's up on his time,
that is bloody quick.
Is very quick. Yeah. I think in this first stint we saw very similar pace from the Div 1 guys, just around those mid to high 47s, because this first stint, this is where you set up the whole race. This is where you get your car you set it up perfectly, save a little bit of fuel, and make up extra time in the stops.
I
You really
don't think
wanna save
Artie's
the car
saving
and go
fuel as
hammers.
he's just gone purple again with a 47.6, and then very quickly broken by Diswood with a 47.419. So he's clearly not in the fuel save category, I would say. He is giving it
Absolutely.
all the beans, and he is right onto the rear bumper of Sizzling Sausage, who is more than holding his own here tonight. He's doing a
We
very
currently
commendable
have
job.
two out of the 3 podium sitters as fill-in drivers in Excel and Sausage. But penalty watch! Sizzling Sausage picks up a penalty through Redifio. Was a little bit too eager.
That was Della Rogier, I do believe.
That's correct. I apologise. Aggressive typing in chat ensues.
Accountant's gone off.
Oh, who has disappeared?
That was racing accountant. He has gone off. Sorry, I don't have the track map in front of me, so I can't say corner names. But
That's
he's
all
now
right.
sitting
We will
back at a.
have a look and see if we can catch that on the Liquid Solutions action replay. I feel I might be a little bit too late. Oh, yep, he's done that on the exit of the second Lesmo. Just ran that little bit wide, and there's not a lot of grip out there on that AstroTurf, and that will send you spearing to that inside concrete wall, which I can confirm is very, very solid indeed. That's not going to do good things for your race, but it's good to see he's just picked himself back up, put his head back down. He's not that far off the back of the field, so over the course of this race, he may just be able to make his way back up into the top 10. We will have to wait and see. Now, in the midst of all that, we have unfortunately missed the overtake. Sizzling Sausage has dropped down from P3 to P5. Both Diswood and GTR have made their way past him, as Diswood is purple through that first sector. But currently, with the fastest lap, is GTR. He's with a 147.335, so he is clearly not wanting to hang around in the mid-pack either. Seems like both himself and Diswood just want to basically set qualifying laps for every single stint, which it's a very ambitious strategy to be able to do that for 60-something laps in succession. Consecutively, as some might say.
So GTR coming into the Ascari chicane is half a second purple. If he can hook this lap up, this will be quicker than he's qualifying. As he goes for the move on Woody, pulls to the outside as they head on the run down to Alberto. Brakes late. Can he sweep it around the outside? Yes, he can! Ah, what a move from GTR to get himself up into the podium place. But Woody's not done with him just yet.
No, there's going to be an argument about this.
Looking for a little bit of side draft here, Woody. Can he get enough? Not quite.
Oh, this is going to be the battle of the late breakers.
Into Redifio. Woody gets the turn in. GTR holds his positioning, and he gets a whole car length in front. And that's the move done. It took him about 30 seconds to get the move done, but he managed to do it. But what that meant was that, unfortunately, all that battling lost a lot of time, and he's almost 2 seconds behind Excel now. Woody's not done with him yet either. 8/10 behind.
And it's brought Sizzling
100,
Sausage back up to the back of the two of them as well. I think he will be more than happy to hang into the slipstream of these guys for as long as possible. And if things are to go bad between the two of them, which I sincerely hope they do not, Sausage will be right there to pick up the pieces.
So Artsy over the last few laps has dropped back into the clutches of Excel. He's lapping last lap 6/10 slower than Excel, with Excel setting a 47.396, just a couple of hundredths away from GTR's
And
purple lap at the moment.
Excel was 1.5 tenths purple coming through Ascari there, so he could be on to a hot one here.
What that means, though, is that I think Excel is pushing and Artsy is saving a little bit, really using up that gap. Excel's used about 1 or 2% extra fuel. So he should keep pushing and catch up to Artsy, but at the moment, he's back into that slipstream range. That's all he needs. But who has used a little bit of extra fuel, and there's no surprise, is GTR, who is sitting currently on about 70% fuel, whether everyone else is about 73, 74, starting the seventh lap of the race.
Alright, let's have a look. Artsy, front of the pack, his tyres are looking roughly around the same for all four, sort of 25, maybe 30-ish% down. Fuel, he is just under 3/4. Let's have a look. Excel is looking very, very similar, a tiny bit more fuel. Prima, yeah, it seems to be very much a similar story for the top three. Prima appears to have the least fuel of the top three at the moment, and also is copying a 1 second penalty. This would, yeah, pretty, it seems to be basically, the top six are showing very similar tyres. The fuel loads are a little bit more varied. Buzzy's got the least of them all. And it looks like
As
Excel
Diswood goes
and
purple through
Diswood.
Ascari.
Yeah, so Excel and Diswood are sort of top fuel savers at the moment. Blind Man's definitely, he's using a bit more fuel than the others. He's almost at half a tank. And his tyres seem to be a little bit more worn. He's definitely trying, he's in catch-up mode, to say the least, I think. Hodes is doing pretty okay for fuel. Tyres seem to be a little bit less worn as well than Blind Man, so he might get another lap or two in, perhaps, depending on his strategy. Mr. Bumcrack is pretty similar story, a little bit less fuel. Gur is like, yeah, relatively the same size as tyre wear, a little bit less fuel consumption. Accountant, who has caught back up from his previous off, he's doing pretty alright there. But he is paying the price. Yeah, tyres and fuel are sort of a bit down on Gur. He might, I probably reckon, you know, if he tries, he could maybe do a free stop. But it seems to be, yeah, not a massive amount of variation between the packs so far. It's definitely, yeah, Blind Man's definitely got the least amount of fuel. Everyone else seems to be, yeah, a few litres difference, and tyres are pretty much negligible.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for that tyre and fuel update, Spitzy. As we will jump back up to the front of the pack and have a look.
I was just monitoring that gap, and it got down to bumper to bumper. Excel was right there, 3/10 behind Artsy, but that gap's opened up a little bit of breathing room for Artsy through that middle sector. But as Excel gets a brilliant run through the exit of the Ascari chicane, 4/10, 3/10, watch that gap fly down as he runs down towards Parabolica now. He might be able to chuck a move on him into Redifio. Drew Albert on the power, closer than he was last lap, 2.5 tenths. This could be the move of the race.
Oh, hang on, guys. Something's happened to Accountant. Just having a look at him again. He has got some form of front end damage, front and also left front tyre. He may have gone off just before.
As Excel dives down the inside into Redifio, can he get it done? Artsy slams that door shut. On the power, not a great exit from Excel. The car bogged down, had a little bit of a slip and slide on the exit of Redifio as they come through Curva Grande. He's dropped back to about 5.5 tenths behind Artsy now. These guys have absolutely dropped Woody and GTR, and they're actually doing better on fuel.
Well,
Excel's
I was just
best out
having a
of the
look
lot
at
out of these
that
front
gap
guys.
between Woody GTR and Excel and RC. The gap is at about 2 seconds. GDR's looking down the inside of the first les. Oh, there's
Oh!
there's a bit of, yep, there's a bit of bumping and banging going on there. I think
GTR
GDR.
redresses. That's this. Oh, what the? Oh! Jesus Christ!
Oh!
there you
go.
Oh, that has not gone well at all.
Blind man lucky to get through that one unscathed. Woods, he's
Let's
got
have
some
a look at
catching up
that
to do.
on the Liquid Solutions action replay. It's a bit of a move down the inside from GDR, bit of contact. And Woody unfortunately finding out the hard way that there is no grip out there on that AstroTurf. So we might definitely leave that one for stewards.
Yeah, I'm not a steward. I'm just an excited guy. But yeah, that's definitely an interesting incident, and I'm glad I'm not a steward. We leave that we leave that one to the guys who do a brilliant job, who have been doing a brilliant job all season.
That has dropped Diswood back down from P3 down to P7, unfortunately. And that does leave a 3-second gap between GDR and Excel, although there might be an asterisk over GDR's finishing result here tonight, but we shall wait and see. How is Sausage getting along? He is purple through the first sector by 2/10. That's how he's getting on. He's doing brilliantly. Holding on to P4. He's got another fill-in driver in the form of Budsy for RMR behind him in P5.
In terms of fuel, Sizzling Sausage is the second worst out of the top 5 on fuel, and the person who is less on fuel is Budsy behind. GTR is marginally better, Excel is marginally better, and Artsy is marginally better than Sizzling Sausage, or he's about even to Sizzling Sausage actually. But those guys, Excel's actually the best out of the lot, out of that front 5. He's got about 2 or 3%, which that'll be worth half a second in the pits if they all pit at the same time.
And speaking of the pits, coming into the end of lap 10, we are getting rather close to the point, I guess, when if anyone's thinking about the 4-stop, another couple of laps, so you should be thinking about a pit stop. I'd say, what was it, around lap 13 is about the point where they might pit, maybe 14.
Potentially somewhere around there. Just depends who's on the 4-stop and who's on the 3-stop. I mean, judging by tyres out of these front guys, that's... If you're thinking 16 laps, looking at those tyres, they've got to do another 6 laps on these tyres, and it's going to be touch and go for some of these guys. The Sizzling Sausage is probably the best on that rear left tyre out of all the front 5. So it's still touch and go whether the 16 laps will be doable in this first stint.
A gap watch up the front between Excel and Artsy. That gap is still around the 7/10 mark, so he's not letting him get away. He's not exactly making inroads on him either. But that may be part of his plan, just try and maintain that just the edge of slipstream gap, maybe save a little bit of fuel and make up that time in the pits, because we all know refueling can be some of the slowest time in your life when you're sitting there and just waiting for the fuel to go in the car, and there's nothing you can do to make it go any faster. The gap back to GDR is come down from 3 seconds in that lap. It's now down to 2 seconds. So Excel's run a 1:48.576 lap. GDR has run a 1:48.16. So there's easily half a second taken out there. Sizzling
Excel
sausage.
needs to get this move done on Artsy if he wants to really get away from GTR at the start of this race, but that first turn, Redifio on the power, he's really struggling for grip. That seems to be where he's losing a lot of his time to Artsy. He lost a quarter of a second on this lap alone, just for that first sector, and he gains it all back on the rest of the lap.
Sizzling sausage is consistently going around 2/10 purple through that first sector, so he's definitely got that nailed. Admittedly, the first sector is, well, one chicane and a slight right-hander, but that's beside the point. It's about getting the braking right to down the after the end of the main straight into the Redifio chicane. The rest of it's pretty easy, but that chicane can be tricky if you are just a little bit late on your brake marker. You are going to go very, very deep, and if you are too late on your brake marker, you will go so deep that you get reset. Hello Karen, how you doing? But Sausage here in P4 is more than holding his own at the moment against Budsy, who, while having been close enough to basically be a new rear decal on that bumper, has not managed to make his way past him.
But there is a massive difference between the condition of those two cars. Budsy's probably got about 5 or 6% less fuel.
Sorry, fuel.
His
Speaking of fuel, we've got the first of our pit stop. Blind Man, P7, coming in at the end of lap 12. So I think we have a 4-stopper here.
Yeah, that's definitely writing his name into
Buzzy and Sausage, there's been contact.
Oh no.
Let's see if we can catch
Sausage
that.
is redressing.
Let's see if
That's
we
right,
can
yeah,
catch
Sausage
that
has
on
redressed, so that's gonna give him maybe a little bit more favourable to Stewards, but that's still not something you want to see.
Let's have a look at that on the Liquid Solutions action replay, see if we can catch that. A little bit of bumping and grinding going into the Redifio. Budsy did look a little bit wide there. Maybe not a lot of...
Oh, Hodes! Hodes is gone! He's off the circuit!
Yeah, look, I'm going to leave that one well alone.
Right, he's still trying to get back on. Oh, he's in the wall!
Oh dear.
Alright, let's see if we can catch what happened to Hodes on
As
the...
I think
Action
no,
replay.
he's gone.
he was travelling very, very fast on the grass. I believe it was a disconnect. That's disaster for his race though.
That is a shame to see. Hopefully we'll not get any more examples of that over the next... How long do we have left? Hour and a half?
A long way. Yeah, as we see everyone pitting now, we see Artsy and Excel into the pits at the same time. These guys should be pitting to about 70%. They've done 13 laps in this first stint. Woody's in as well. Budsy's in. This is pretty much riding, putting the writing on the wall for these guys. Everyone seeming to be doing the 4-stop. Best on fuel is actually Woody, which is a very good job for him. As we see the front runners of Excel and Artsy out of the pits, GTR goes around again. So whether he's doing the 3-stop or if he's just doing his 14-lap stint to get it out of the way at the start of this race, that's left to be decided.
And I think sitting in Artsy's slipstream has proven very advantageous for Excel as he comes out of the pits 1.5 seconds in front of Artsy.
But the reason why is that Excel's got about 15% less fuel than Artsy. So he may have compromised his first stint here. He's running about 60% fuel, which is about 10% less than what you probably would want in the car at this stage. He's going to have to do a little bit of saving here.
Think he might be going for a change of strategy on the fly, perhaps?
Might just be a bit too eager on the button, I think.
Oh no.
There's
we'll have
not
to
a
wait.
lot of fuel.
We'll have to wait and see whether he's done his calculations correctly.
And that's only left him with a 2-second gap to Artsy. So I think Excel, he may have underfueled to try and get track position over Artsy, but there's a certain point where it's too much. GTR's in on lap 14 with 32 in the tank. That's a fairly decent save there.
That is a very healthy fuel save.
Let's see how he fares when he comes out of the pits compared to these guys. He might be able to even overcut these guys. See how much he puts in the pits. I mean, in the tank. So he's going to put a lot.
Excel and Artie across the line. Coming past the pit exit now. Where is GTR? He has come out back behind them to the tune of we'll just call it 3 seconds by the time he gets back up to speed.
So the complete opposite to what Excel did in the pits, GTR has put about 10% more in the tank than probably what he needed. So he's running well over 80% at the moment. And compared to Artsy, who at the same point of the race is running just under 75 there, that's like 7 or 8% in the tank extra that GTR is going to be able to use and really push the car with, catch up to the back of these guys. But in turn, he's lost about 1.5 seconds of time on the road.
So just having a look a little further back down the field, Diswood, after that earlier incident, is currently running P5 and he is just over a second off the back of Blind Man in P4. So Woody is definitely on the comeback trail. There would be some, I imagine would have been a few choice words coming from underneath that helmet, but at the same time he's gritting his teeth and just getting stuck back into it, because we still... I've just looked at the race timer and I have realised that it is completely incorrect.
Uh-oh.
Yes, because we are 27.5 minutes in and it's telling me we still have 1 hour and 46 minutes. So let me see if I can get that corrected on the fly.
Should be able to. 1 minute 32 remaining as Woody and Blind Man begin the 16th lap of this race. Fresh rubber on both of these cars. They're sitting 15 seconds off of our race leader currently in Excel. So how's this happened? Oh, no, never mind. I'm just playing dumb. Call me Dory, short-term memory.
That's right. Oh, alright, have a look at the back of the pack here. Gur and Racing Accountant. Oh, no, Accountant's gone. He has gone off at Valente. That's put him right at the back of the pack. He's probably... Oh, he's lost maybe 10-15 seconds there, I'd imagine, with that spin. Very unfortunate for him. He was starting... Yeah, he was starting to make a comeback when it comes to getting ahead of Bumcrack and Gur, but unfortunately he's got to do it all over again.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really unfortunate from the Racing Accountant. He's messed up big time, lost all traction there, and he spun the rear end round. Very easy to do. It's a very high traction zone on the circuit. You need to get the power down, but balancing that knife's edge between spinning and getting that perfect acceleration, it's not an easy thing to do.
Right, I've just got the camera on Woody at the moment. He is right on the bumper of Blind Man and he's looking to make a move down the inside into Albert.
Ooh.
Gets it done.
A lift from Blind Man there on the entry. He just sort of let him through. So Blind Man, Woody's caught up 2 seconds on him in the last lap or two, so Blind Man's probably thinking, oh, he's given him a touch as well, so Blind Man's probably thinking, you go, I'll follow you, and we'll both improve our race together.
Yep,
There's a little bit of teamwork going on between Blind Man and Woody.
Yep, definitely looking for a bit of teamwork going on, because he would be very conscious of Sizzling Sausage and Budsy, who are not that far behind, and he knows that if he wastes too much time battling, especially with Woody, who is a very determined and hard fighter for position on track, you're just going to burn so much time. So it might be better, He's probably worked out that it's going to be a lot better for him to just sit in the slipstream, give him a nudge, and help try and drop that gap to GTR in front of them, and quite potentially save a fair chunk of fuel in the process.
Absolutely. So the gap between Excel and Woody, compared to the start of the stint, it's pretty much negligible, a couple of tenths. But Excel has been driving quite well on this lower fuel load. He's actually extended the gap back to Artsy, and yeah, he's making it work, making the best of a bad situation here, underfueling the car. Maybe he's just playing to a number, driving to a number.
I have spotted in the YouTube chat, Foss has chimed in, you only need 66% fuel to make 13 laps. So maybe Excel has got his fuel numbers right on the money, and he's running to a decimal point exactly how much fuel he needs, which, I don't know, that scares me because I always like to throw in a couple of extra percent just to be on the safe side, and just in case I do need to give it the beans. But if you as a driver have the confidence to run to the exact percentage you need, well done. My hat's off to you.
Yeah. So that means that Artsy and in particular GTR, they've put way too much fuel in for this stint. But that being said, Artsy has actually closed up to Excel by about 6 tenths over the last lap or so. He's driving very, very fast. He actually set the exact same lap time that was our fastest lap for a long while in this race, a 47.335. But it is not the fastest lap of the race because GTR has gone even quicker on that last lap with a 1 minute 47.273. Rapid race pace.
He is definitely a man on a mission. The gap to RC has dropped to 2.3, and he goes 3 tenths purple on this lap through into Ascari. So we might just stay on board with him at the... Actually, we will go on board. Yeah, we will go on board with GDR, and we will take you for a lap around Monza. Down the gears, into Albert, get the car turned in, wait for that point, and then just stand on the power for that monstrous long straight. As GDR drops a 146.925 race lap, ladies and gentlemen. I repeat,
wow,
a race lap. Yep. Okay, and it's hard onto the brakes, down the gears, all the way back to first for Redifilio. Hug the curbs and let it run out wide, and then back on the power, bang it up through the gears into Curva Grande. If you lift here, there's something wrong, you just stay foot to the firewall, turn it in nice and gentle, find your brake marker, on the brakes again, back down through the gears, clip the curb, don't hit that second curb too much because it will spit you out wide in a heartbeat.
Oh! That's huge for GTR, 1 second penalty.
Also, don't clip the curb too much because you will get a 1 second track limits penalty for your efforts.
I would say that was on entry as well, with that first bit, because if you, as soon as you clip the grass with your right hand wheels, bam, you get slapped with a penalty. That's not well, that's not going well for GTR.
That was unfortunate indeed. The gap up the front, still hovering around the 1.6, 1.7 seconds mark. Let's have a check back in with Woody and Blind Man, see how they're faring. Blind Man still hanging in there, just within slipstream range. Woody setting very consistent mid to low 47-second laps. He certainly got himself into endurance mode, just bang out laps, keep them nice and solid, nice and consistent, because it is very easy here at Monza to lose a bucket load of time with even the smallest of errors. If you get the exit of Albert onto that main straight wrong, you can kiss half a second lap time goodbye without even trying. Ask me how I know.
Woody actually competes in ACC Enduros, so he's well acquainted with this format of racing, the mental anguish that an enduro can provide. He's very, very good at managing that challenge, and that's what he's doing here tonight. P4 at the moment, 15 seconds off the lead. He's closed up that gap to Excel marginally. He's similar fuel at the moment to Artsy. Oh no! Oh, Woody.
Oh,
He's picked up a half-second penalty.
The old commentator's curse is well and truly in power tonight, especially at the Della Rosia chicane. Just where car control from Woody just on the exit of the second Lesmo. A little bit of possibly some PTSD flashbacks going on there. But has managed to successfully hold on to it this time and not lose too much time in the process, but unfortunately having to serve this half-second penalty, he will lose a chunk of time, and with Blind Man only 1.2 seconds behind, that might leave him under threat here in Albert. So
also, after GTR served his penalty, he's back to 3 seconds behind Artsy, so pretty much reset all of his progress from this stint.
That is unfortunate indeed. Just have a little bit of a look back in the field. Sizzling Sausage still holding his own. P6, setting nice and consistent laps. It's good to see. Budsy has dropped off the back of him a little bit. Again, more than holding his own here. Gurr has managed to find his way up into P8 ahead of Mr. Bumcrack. Those two were running nose to tail for quite a few laps, but Gurr has managed to make his way past and pull out a 2-second lead on the Plumber, who, despite starting in P11, has managed to make his way up to P9. Had a bit of a shaky run in terms of lap times. They're a little bit up and down, so maybe not feeling 100% confident or comfortable with the car setup here at Monza. And
so Excel has extended that gap to Artsy.
The racing accountant, the taxman, who is 6 seconds off the back of Bumcrack, but that gap does appear to be coming down. Sorry, Lodosis?
Excel's extended the gap back to Artsy. It's now 2.2 seconds.
I don't think he's in fuel save mode. I think he's definitely got the hammer down, and he's running to his fuel number.
He's saving a little, not as pushy as he was in the first stint, but still revving it out quite a lot. Shifting around the where the little the box is with the recommended gear. He's revving around that range.
Sorry, an RPM reference for that.
I'll tell you.
There we go. That's the kind of info we want.
1 second. He's downshifting at the moment. About 8,500 revs there.
So it's about the sweet spot for this car.
Yeah. Car does rev all the way up to 9,000, so leaving a little bit left to be desired in terms of the rev range, but always some parts of the circuit maybe a little bit earlier, maybe further down towards the 8,000 mark. We have a look back to Artsy. To compare, yeah, Artsy is pretty much redlining it.
Yeah, we'll jump on board with Artsy at the moment, and we'll take a look for ourselves, I think.
Using absolutely everything that the BMW has to offer in a straight line.
That engine does sound glorious. Let's just have a listen down the main straight. Oh, I love that noise.
Straight cut gears and a V8. Cool.
Yeah, certainly cannot argue with that symphony. And then the pop crackle on the overrun, the lovely mechanical clack of the gears. Oh, I think I need a drink of cold water.
Which later on in this race, once the sun starts to set, we will see some flamage coming out the sides of these cars. And last week, Stickers took some beautiful shots of the Division 1 field with a lot of flamage.
Ah, yes, we do love a good bit of flamage.
Flamage. So
That-
GTR,
that one's for you,
1.3
Ghost.
seconds behind Artsy at the moment. He's on an absolute charge.
Yep, that gap not that long ago was back to 3 seconds after he served that penalty. And he's managed to take nearly 2 seconds off that in just as many laps. Yep, he's certainly not mucking around here. How is he doing in terms of lap times this time around?
Who's that, sorry?
GTR.
47.6 last lap, a little bit slower. But it looks like he's on for a good one this lap. Let's see what it is. 46 potentially? Oh, ho, ho. 47.5. That's only 2 tenths quicker than Artsy on that last lap though, so his progress starting to take a bit of a dent.
He is managing to extend his lead back to Diswood, who's managed to make his way back to P4. A few laps ago that gap was at about 12 seconds. It's now extended out to 14 and a half, give or take a tenth. Woody maybe not making as much inroads forwards as he might like, but he has dropped Blind Man. Blind Man has dropped. Wait, no. Blind Man is on the 4-stop strategy, is he not?
Yeah, Blind Man's tyres are slightly worse than Woody's.
Okay, so Blind Man has not pit a second time yet. He's dropped from 5th to 7th for other reasons, it would appear.
Yeah, on that last lap, lap 23, he did a 153 flat. So that's about 6 seconds lost. So yeah, I would say something's happened to the Hooncorp car.
There's a few. The car won't stay still long enough for me to get a look at the front bumper. I can't tell if they're witness marks or sponsor decals. They are sponsor decals. Never mind. I will go back in my box. As he gets a little bit twitchy coming out of Ascari there. Maybe car setup not favourable to that high-speed cornering section.
Ooh, headlights came on.
Oh, shiny.
Unfortunately, here at Monza, there isn't a 24-hour day cycle, but it does get quite dark here as the sun sets, and we get some beautiful shots around the Monza circuit here.
Budsy and Sizzling Sausage, they've been between the 1.5 and 2 second mark apart from each other for pretty much the majority of this race. It might come down to a battle of the fuel strategy as to who's going to come out on top here tonight.
GTR and Artsy at the moment are having a huge battle.
Hello.
Artsy made a mistake on that last lap. He dropped that gap, dropping a 48.5 compared to GTR's 47.6, continuing that consistent pace. These guys expected to be in the next lap or the lap after, as GTR is on the fresher tyres. He did pit lap 14 as opposed to Artsy's lap 13. Could we see a move potentially before the pit stop? Let's wait and see. He's closer than he's been all race long. 2 seconds astray of Excel. He's got Artsy lined up. He's going to hold off into Albert for now. I think he's looking at the long game, thinking about Redafio, I should say. But he's going to get him. Artsy doesn't get a good exit. Maybe a bit of side draft from GTR. He pulls alongside. 500 separate these two as they cross the start-finish line to begin the 26th lap of the race. GTR not quite able to get that done. He's going to tuck back in for a bit more slipstream and then fire it down the inside. Late on the brakes. Perfect braking for the Blacklight Motorsports driver. And bit of a moment on the exit there for GTR.
Very twitchy on exit, but I'm guessing that would be just him trying to get on the power as soon as possible.
Tyre watch. Blind Man is in for a new set of boots. 5% left in the tank. So he's running 1 lap earlier than everyone else, which is a bit weird. He did 12 laps in that first stint, then 13 in this stint. So he's going to have to do 2 14-lap stints somewhere if he even makes it to 66 laps. Puts in 86% in the tank. That is a lot of fuel going into that Hoon Corp Esports car. But look at this. GTR, he's dropped Artsy, and now he's all eyes forward to Excel, who did a 49 on that last lap. The gap is down to 1 second, under a second. He's within slipstream range. As GTR has about 20% more fuel than Excel. Excel will be in this lap on the fuel he's on. But GTR can keep going if he wants to. We should see GTR and Artsy. Yeah, absolutely. We should see all these three in this lap, as GTR's done his 14 lap stint at the start of the race. Artsy did 13 laps at the start. He has fuel to keep going, and he does keep going. It's just Excel in this lap. 4% left in the tank.
Yeah, there was not another lap left in him, unfortunately. I think even on a fuel save lap, you're probably still going to use 5, 6, maybe 5%.
On a medium push lap, sort of how these guys are pushing at the moment, you should see about a smidge over 5% per lap. So on a fuel save, 4% in the tank would have been enough to get him home.
But that would have been a slow lap.
Yeah, there's no point doing that when you can just pit now. I'm pretty sure he was running to a number.
So Diswood goes around again. Excel is out of the pits. He's just under 12 seconds behind Woody.
Sausage, Budsy, Gurr, Bumcrack, all into the pits at the moment. And Blind Man, who pit on the last lap. Let's see where he comes out here. He's going to be behind Budsy and Sausage. That's interesting. He's been dropped by these guys.
What's going on there?
He was in 7th beforehand.
Well, the taxman has gone around again.
Yes, exactly.
Taxman
That'll do it.
Hasn't pit. Yep, that accounts, no pun intended, for the extra position that Blind Man has gone back, but that will come back to him, I believe, in, I would say, the next lap or two. So, not sure how much fuel the taxman has left in the tank. How's he looking?
Not
there?
a lot. It'll
Not a
definitely
lot.
be this lap.
Right, so not quite fuel light, but not quite let's keep going.
No, he's on the fuel light,
Right,
but he'll be
that.
in this lap. Speaking of people who aren't on the fuel light, it just came on for Artsy and he peeled in. But GTR still has 16% left in the tank as he comes in to the pit box to service his car, change the tyres, and should be topping up. So he's the lowest out of those three on that stint, 8% left in the tank. Let's see where they fill up this time. Oh, it's going to be tight. GTR might be able to overcut him here. No, Excel's going to breeze on by, but that gap has been halved into the first turn. So GTR putting a little bit of extra fuel in for that second stint means that he's able to put in less now. And he slots right back in where he was beforehand. 8 tenths behind Excel now with fresher tyres. Could we see a move for the lead in the next couple of laps? We'll have to wait and see as they come through Curva Grande. 7 tenths the gap between the two race protagonists, I should say. Excel isn't even in this championship, but he's winning the race.
That's a fairly solid effort, I've got to say.
If he does win this, this will be one of the greatest fill-in drives that we will have ever seen in Sector 1.
So we have had a few notable reserve driver races here at Sector 1. It's great to see the guys from the lower divisions and categories stepping up and not just holding their own, but currently leading the race.
Absolutely.
Could it be that we have a new prospector?
Well, that's what he's been dubbed already, the young prospector here, Excel. He is only young. He's 15 at the moment, I'm fairly sure. So he's got a lot of driver development to go on. And with this sort of pace at his age, I mean, the racecraft is going to come with experience.
And my jealousy
he's
is
going to push
strong.
on and get better and better and better.
My jealousy is incredibly strong.
Young Wakey 2.0. And as it stands, that gap, 7/10 between the two, up the front. Not a great exit from Excel there. GTR lost a little bit on the start of the exit, but he manages to get the power down. That seems to be Excel's weak spot on the circuit. He's dropping 2 or 3 tenths every single time he comes through the first sector.
As RC goes purple through the first sector. He's looking to try and make that gap back up to GTR, which is out to 2.1 seconds at the moment.
As the sun sets on Monza, the track temps will fall and we'll see the lap times come down.
Sorry, you have been corrected in the YouTube chat by Dadson. Excel is 16, not 15.
Apologies, Dadson.
And Excel is now known as the young prospect, and he has dubbed his team owner Old Gold.
Old Gold.
Which I might mention is an incredibly delicious chocolate.
Bitter.
You can keep your garlic there, Lenosis. I don't want it.
Well, okay, I've been saying this for a while actually.
Oh boy.
Because
here
when
we
I
go.
first said this, we were only on 500 subscribers. It was fresh after we hit 500 subscribers. And the running joke is the garlic chocolate, the garlic bread chocolate, but on 1,000 subscribers, okay, when Sector 1 does hit 1,000 subscribers, I will be eating garlic bread chocolate against my best wishes.
As in putting chocolate on top of garlic bread, or making a sandwich, or...
I don't know. I assume so.
We need to work out the details of this.
Well, we can figure out the details when we get in close. At the moment, we're sitting on about 750
we can work out the
subscribers.
details when GDR is not making a move on Excel. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we got slightly distracted here in the cops box.
The devil's in the details. As GTR, he was 3/10 purple with the slipstream from Excel, but he definitely backed out of the throttle. He found himself in an awkward position there as they approached the De La Roggia chicane. Through the second Lesmo now. GTR, he's not really pressuring for the track limits at the moment. He seems to just be lifting and coasting. So I think at this stage of the race, GTR, he's putting on his racecraft noggin, his race strategist noggin, his tinfoil hat, and he's thinking, if I just hold the slipstream and I save a lot of fuel, I'm going to be able to jump him in the pits in 16 laps time. Wait, why am I saying 16? It would be 10 laps time.
That is a fairly solid strategy. And they have managed to... that gap back to Artsy is still about the 2-second mark, so he hasn't dropped off the back. He's just running around the same pace. So
Definitely short shifting here, GTR. And a little bit of lifting and coasting. We'll have a look as he heads into Redifio. Let's listen to the car. Is there a bit of lifting and coasting? Not into Redifio. But he's going to close up massively on exit because Excel struggles on exit. That gap down to 5/10. Yeah, massive fuel save here for GTR in this third stint of the race.
Yeah, he might be going for the overtake him in the pits strategy as opposed to overtake him on track.
Massive lift and coast into Della Roggia there. About 50 meters of lifting.
So I'm just going to scour back through the field, see how everyone else is doing. Our team still thereabouts. A little bit more of a gap, 2.3 seconds back to GDR. The gap is a little bit larger when we're making our way back to Woody in P4, who has a 1 second track limits penalty. I swear every time I go to Woody he gets a penalty. So I'll get the camera off him before his team owner starts throwing daggers in my direction.
Well, I think Chase might want us to put the camera on him because the CP cars are running a wonderful split colour livery, inverted right down the middle
Actually, yeah,
of the CP BMW. So
it does give some serious Two-Face vibes.
yeah, awesome Michael Jackson vibes. In the case of Woody's car.
Wow, I was not going there. Not touching that. Right, so Budsy still has Sizzling Sausage in close company. Less than a second. I swear these two have been inseparable for the entire race, which we are getting very dangerously close to the halfway mark. Wow.
Well, with Excel, Budsy and Sizzling Sausage, they're all racing next week into Division 3. So this is a precursor to what's to come next week. And without that incident between Budsy and Sizzling Sausage, they would be right up there with Excel, a couple seconds astray. So it's a precursor to next week, a little bit of a preview, the trailer, if you will, when these guys are racing in their own championship.
Do you have any idea how slightly depressing that is for me, watching three guys I'm going to be competing against in the top 5 in Division 2?
Well, it would be a little bit comforting seeing that Sizzling Sausage and Budsy had a moment together. So you're pretty consistent. You just keep it on the
hang on, bomb crack's gone off.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Yeah, overshot first corner. He got reset. He's now at the back of the pack.
Oh, let's see if we can catch that on our Liquid Solutions action replay. Please tell me I can actually get it right this time. Ooh, I think I might have. Oh, yep, that is, I have missed my braking marker. Oh, bugger. Oh, that's a reset. Oh,
Might want to have a look away from the replay right now because GTR has just taken the lead of the race on Excel into Albert. If you can grab a replay right there so we can watch that overtake back. He fired it down the inside and managed to get that move done well before the braking zone. But Excel's coming back at him. He's going to try around the outside. Can he get it done late on the brakes? Is he going to do it? Can he? Oh, I think he's going to get it done. Oh, that's tight on the exit. Excel, oh, lights up the rears. Can't quite get the power down. But GTR, he's picked up a half-second penalty. That's going to drop him behind Excel if he can't get the power down for the rest of the lap. Holy moly, it's all kicking off here in the Division 2 Monza Enduro on lap 33 as we approach the halfway point of the race.
It happens to me every time. I do a replay and oh dear.
Yeah. But GTR, he might be able to hold the lead because he's put on 0.3 of a second over Excel already after gaining the lead. It was out to 0.8 for a smidge of a second as they come down the back straight towards Ascari on the power. GTR is going to serve that penalty. Excel needs a strong run through Ascari if he wants to take back the lead. And it looks like he does get a good run, or I think it's just going to be enough. GTR serves that penalty, and Excel slides his way back into the lead of the race. Into Parabolica now. GTR is going to get another crack at him, down into Redifio. Not the best of exits from GTR. He's going to be playing catch-up for the first half of the straight. He's still playing catch-up. That delta still not coming down. It finally starts to come down. But he's too far away at this stage into the braking zone of Redifio. No move from GTR at this point. Beautiful exit from GTR. That gap closing up. 2.5 tenths, 2 tenths. Using that slipstream to the best of his ability. Try and get the move done. Will we see a move into Della Rocha? He's looking racy. Shows the inside line or backs out of it. Massive lift. He was off the throttle for 200 meters there.
I am very sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully there was no interruption to the stream. I was having some software glitches, so hopefully nothing was interrupted and I managed to keep things going on the action for you all. Now,
that's good.
Now that we've got a little bit of a break in play, let's have a look at that. Let's see if we can have a look at that replay of GDR's move on Excel earlier. So coming out of Albert. No, he's already made his way past. But let's have a look again at that move into turn 1 regardless. Side by side into the braking zone. Excel holding the outside to inside line. Just lights up the rear tyres. Very unfortunate. But there's still plenty of time left.
Down into the Redifio chicane at the moment. 2 tenths is the gap. We're seeing a repeat of last lap. As I was saying as well with the fuel situation, GTR has an extra about 15% over Excel. So if they pit now, that is a huge gap that he's going to put on Excel in the pits. GTR looking racy as Excel squeezes him on the outside of Della Rocha. Into Della Rocha, I should say, but GTR, oh, he showed him the curb. Oh, it's getting scrappy between these guys. They managed to hold themselves in formation for now. Excel survives without a penalty despite cutting the chicane.
Might have been
into
a
the
little
second
bit of
Lesmo.
a little bit of a bump.
Oh! Excel's gone off! GTR slides himself into the lead of the race. But Excel has damage on the rear bumper. So was there contact between GTR and
Buzzy's
Excel?
off! Buzzy spun!
Oh no! That's disaster for Budsy as well.
Let's see if we can
drops-
catch Budsy's little moment on the action replay.
Sausage has got a 1 second penalty. I'm not 100% sure if he was involved, but
Budsy
maybe
coming
give Buzzy
through
a chance to catch up.
Yep, he's gotten a little bit wide. Oh, that was big tank slapper moment on the exit of the Della Rocha chicane. So maybe suffering from a little bit of rear tyre wear, and unfortunately, yeah, big tank slapper, and around she goes. That is unfortunate, but he's still within 2 seconds of his running mate tonight, Sizzling Sausage, so all is not lost. We've gone past the halfway mark, but there's still plenty of time left for these guys to make up any lost ground. And that's the nature of an endurance race. It's all good to be quick over 10-20 minutes, but consistency matters over 2 hours.
Absolutely. What all this battling between Excel and GTR has done, though, is Artsy is back into the mix. He's a second astray of Excel at the moment. We see a real battle for the top 3 starting to shape up. GTR skipping off into the distance already. A 1:49.3 on the last lap. That was when he overtook Excel, but he's already put 2 seconds on him.
Excel doing a 1:51.5 on that last lap. having
Courtesy of him going off the track.
Yep, courtesy of his little moment. But I tell you what, he's done over an hour, or it took him over an hour to have a little moment. That is significantly better than what yours truly could manage around here. So, well done to him. And it wasn't a catastrophic facing the wrong direction moment, so...
No, not at all. So as it stands, if GTR can hold the lead of the race at the moment, he has the fastest lap in hand. That's 37 points that he will gain for this race. So he will make it back into Div 1 if he can hold on to this race result.
GDR definitely putting the hammer down now with that extra fuel he's got in reserve. 2.4 seconds clear of Excel. Artsy still hanging around that 1.2, 1.3 second mark off the back of Excel. And there is quite the gap of 17 seconds back to Woody in P4, who's got a very comfortable 6.3 seconds back to Sizzling Sausage.
Yellow flags!
Oh no.
Hang on a minute. Oh, Artsy's got damage!
Oh, what? I am so good at missing action. It is not funny. Let's see if we can catch that on the replay, because the gap is out to 9 seconds between Excel and Artsy. So let's...
And it's half back to Woody as well now too.
Oh, we've got him facing in the wall at...
Would have been Della Rogia.
Yep, Della Rogia. I think... If I were to take a guess, I would say he's clipped one of those curbs a bit too hard and he's been spat out. But I am only guessing.
Just have a look at the back of the pack. Gurr and Accountants were pretty much like only a second or two apart for majority last few laps, but Accountant, he's made a mistake somewhere. He slipped back down into last. Bumcrack is now back in 9th. Gurr's in 8th with about a 7.5 second lead over the back two.
Accountant having not a great race tonight. Things have not been going his way at all, but credit to him for keeping the head down and the bum up and just soldiering on. Speaking of the bum up, Mr. Bumcrack is up into P9. Still cutting fairly consistent, solid laps. Gurr in P8. There's quite a few drivers in that lovely area known as no man's land. I mean, being an endurance race, the gaps can extend out significantly greater than what we're used to seeing in our conventional race lengths. Blind Man in P7. Now, if my math is correct and he's on the 4-stop strategy, he should be pitting sometime in the next 2 laps.
Well, he has been running early, remember? He pit lap 12,
yellow.
then lap...
Nope.
Oh!
Artsy.
Artsy! Again!
Oh no, let's
Woody!
see.
Up into P3!
Let's see if we can see what happened to Artsy there. I am
Yeah,
sorry,
Artsy's
ladies and
got
gentlemen.
engine damage. He's going slow.
Sorry, ladies and
Gotta
gentlemen,
say-
that I am so terrible at missing this action live.
I think he's going to survive from Sizzling Sausage behind, though, because that damage has cleared itself in the nick of time.
Oh, he's gotten very sideways on the exit of Ascari and has just whiplashed himself into that outside wall. That was very violent indeed.
Outside wall.
Right-hand wall.
Yeah, that's an interesting... Normally, through the exit of Ascari, you see people spear into the left wall, but that means it's an overcorrection. That's not gone well.
Well, either way, it's not good. It doesn't matter which wall you hit, it's not good.
I would say after his earlier incident at the Della Roggia chicane, he's just a little bit on edge, a little bit nervous. And as soon as the car started to slip, he threw the steering wheel and, yeah, overcorrected into the wall. That's disaster for Artsy at this stage of the race. He was looking strong for a win. But now he's down in P4 with the Black Rose fill-in of Sizzling Sausage on his bumper, 7/10 behind. As we should see these guys in this lap. As I was saying, Blind Man pit lap 12 and then lap 25. So he's a lap behind everybody else in terms of strategy.
So if
I'd
my
imagine
math
we'd
is
see-
right, he should be pitting at the end of this lap, being 39.
Yeah.
Or
GTR goes round.
if he can extend that out, he might make it to 40. Excels into the pits.
Fuel's not looking great for Blind Man, so I'd imagine he'd be in this lap too.
How
Is
about
Woody
Woody? Negative.
Goes round.
How
Artsy?
about Artsy? Nah, he's going around again. Same again as
Sausage steals it.
Sausage. Nope, Sausage
Buds
goes in.
in.
That was a late entry.
Blind Man in. Then a big gap back to Gurr.
How's he looking for fuel?
Can do another lap. Not two.
Guys, we're about to probably have our first overlap. Accountant, he had a big moment at the first chicane, you know, maybe about a minute or so ago. Prima is right on his tail. Blue flags are out.
Yeah, wait, did Accountant pit last lap? That's a massive time loss if that's just an incident. No,
It was an incident.
Crash.
Yeah, he was on the inside field. He'd spun around, was trying to correct himself. Yeah, he hasn't pitted yet.
That's 30 seconds time loss on lap 37 and 38. That's a 2-minute 8 and a 1-minute 59. That's
that
massive time loss.
sounds like two big incidents to me. And I can speak from experience, after you have one big incident, you can be a little bit nervous, a little bit shaky afterwards.
Right.
Well,
okay. Well, the overlap is not happening yet. Prima has just pitted.
Yeah, a little bit of that blue flag pressure relief for the Accountant there.
As Diswood comes around Alberto, see if he comes into the pits or not. He looks like a yes, he does.
Definitely.
Yep, 7%. He could have run another
Artsy
lap.
too? Yes, he does.
Arcee's coming in as well.
And Excel, no,
Oh,
because he is on an outlap. He has already pitted, so GDR is already out of pit lane and on the brakes and into turn 1. He has a very healthy 5.5 second lead now.
very strong.
And
from
his
GTR.
fuel level, he's still, about 10-15% ahead of Excel.
He's overfield again.
Diswood out of the pits. He is well clear of Artsy to the tune of 5.5 seconds.
Artsy might be under pressure from Sizzling Sausage here as well on those cold tyres. Sausage on the power, half a second astray of Artsy. Can he get a move done on him? Oh, there's some cones down at the exit of Redifio.
Yes,
check it out.
that was the accountants coming back through, ignoring the cone chicane, just barreled right through him, but nothing left on track, at least.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Oh, here we go. Sausage right on the rear bumper of Artsy, who is struggling to get those tyres up to temperature. Could lose some track position to Sausage.
Here you go, accountants come in.
I don't think these two guys want to waste too much time battling, because Budsy is there or thereabouts in the background, only 2.5 seconds further afield, so You don't want to get too cute, because that 2.5 seconds will become half a second before you know what's going on. It does seem
That
like
gap.
Artsy has managed to get some temperature into those tyres, and just starting to flex a little bit, find his pace again after the pit stop.
Park your breathing room.
Well, the overlap has happened. Accountant has been overtaken by Prima.
And he has a 1-second penalty to add insult to injury. So,
GDR just starting to flex his muscle now. So that's
well,
5.5
to
seconds.
Excel's credit, Excel has been keeping that gap relatively stable for the first lap and a half of this fourth stint. We'll see when the first few lap times come in. But yeah, it's pretty much negligible change at the moment. GTR is going to have to work slightly harder this stint, as he doesn't have the tyre advantage that he had last stint. That just made him able to quite easily breeze past Excel when he wanted to. He had the fuel advantage and the tyre advantage that entire stint. And now the tyre advantage is gone and it's just the fuel, so...
I think I'm going to
Still
have
managed
to
to-
rename Diswood to Dis Penalty, as he has just served another half-second penalty.
Well, he does race for CP.
Ah, yes.
We all know the
Owner.
P in CP stands for penalty.
Yeah. CP penalties. But he does have a healthy gap to the driver behind him in the form of Artsy, who has not been able to drop Sizzling Sausage like we might have imagined would happen. Sausage is doing a fantastic job of just hanging in that slipstream, keeping pace with him. So if Artsy happens to have another little incident, Sausage will be more than there to pick up the pieces and take that P4.
Sausage has gone purple by about 100th of a second.
As did Artsy in that first sector by 1.5 tenths. The fastest
at
lap
these guys'
from
laps as
GDR
well.
is still standing, 46.925.
Almost got me belting out some karaoke there.
Okay.
Do you want me?
I missed that reference, and no, I do not want to hear you sing.
Oh, okay. Somebody in the comments can point it out if they got it. That it's... I'm just not going to explain it. Somebody else can explain it. But yeah, Sausage is doing a brilliant job. He's managed to drop Budsy and use the slipstream of Artsy to keep himself relevant in this fourth place battle. Fourth place for the Black Rose racing car would be absolutely magnificent in this race.
Being a fill-in driver, he is only eligible for team points, but that would still be a very healthy haul for Black Rose tonight, especially with the double points on offer.
Now, there has been a rule change for this season for fill-in drivers to promote cleaner driving. And if you receive a penalty, it does go, as well as your team points penalty, it also goes on your personal drivers championship. So Sausage, having that incident with Budsy earlier, he did redress, so he should avoid the 15-point absolute slap in the face penalty for no redress. But if the stewards deem that Sizzling Sausage is at fault, this could affect his Category 2 chances as well.
I must say I did not actually know about that rule change, but I gotta say I am a fan of it. Again, to promote cleaner driving. If things happen, there will be consequences, which
Absolutely.
I certainly do not disagree with.
For the stewards this season, a big focus was stamping out unclean driving practices and overall just making sure that everyone enjoys the racing better. That mostly came in the form of the two rule changes. The first being that I just mentioned, where fill-in drivers, it goes on their personal driving championships, but also in the form of the 15-point no redress penalty that we've seen a couple people receive, including myself. It just promotes that good sportsmanship where if you mess up, you hold your hands up and you say, I'm sorry, I'll let you back through, rather than just driving off into the distance. And I think compared to last season, I reckon the driving standards have been absolutely phenomenal this season. There's been not many incidents. I think across all 4 divisions, there's been maybe 10 penalties given out so far this season across 5 rounds. So that's brilliant to see everybody driving the way they are. We've had quite a few races where nobody... Oh, that was really weird. I thought Artsy just disconnected for a second there. He just drove straight into a wall, but then blipped back to in front of Sizzling Sausage. So let's hope that he doesn't
doing
disconnect from the
GT7
race.
things.
Mm.
Also, check in on the YouTube chat. You'll be happy to hear that Captain Muffin got your joke.
See, me and Muffin are on similar brainwaves, you know? We've got that same kind of autism.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not.
Never said it was a good thing. I never said it was a bad thing.
So GDR definitely flexing the muscle. Gaps out to 9.5 seconds. And he has reset the fastest lap of the race with a 1:46.753 get out. Just, that is a race lap.
Nobody's touching that.
Well, maybe GTR again in the final stint.
Nobody else is touching that.
As he's 1/10 purple through the first sector. Oh, yay. Oh, the blue flags are out. Oh. Accountant picking up another half-second penalty.
Which, despite having blue flags, or just receiving them now, the accountant's actually been keeping fairly good pace into the 47s with a 47.2 on lap 42. That's pretty decent pace, it must be said, even though he's in last place at the moment. I mean, he's been keeping relatively good pace compared to GTR and Excel, but he will have to step aside in a moment's time and let through Excel, who a couple of seconds behind at the moment. May even have to let him through with the penalty. We'll have a look. So they come through Albert for the 46th time. We'll just see him step aside in a moment's time, perhaps. I mean, Excel is quite a while behind him still. It's still a 1.5 second gap or so.
And it's incredibly annoying being that guy who's about to get lapped and seeing those blue flags come out and you know the guy is still so far behind you. But just seeing those blue flags, it's well, at least personally, I find it irritating. Like, wait until the guy gets a bit closer, then wave the flags.
Yeah, and it does come out quite early in Gran Turismo. I think it's when they're within 5 seconds, so especially if you have a driver like this who's keeping relatively decent pace compared to the top guys. It can take a while for them to actually catch up enough for it to make sense to let them through. But yeah, as you said, it does get quite annoying up the top of the screen saying blue flag, blue flag, blue flag. So he runs wide over the AstroTurf there, Accountant.
It's fairly dangerous.
And I think he's actually put a little bit of time on Excel this lap, funny enough.
Probably wants those blue flags to go away, so he's finally just, I'll give the beans.
Now the dirty air can be quite an issue as well, so even though the gap is decent, the dirty air is still going to be there enough that it's going to slightly affect Excel. So I think Excel would be happy if Accountant just jumped out of the way sooner rather than later. And oh, I thought Excel might have been pitting there, but he's using all the available track width down the pit straight.
Just checking in P4 at the moment on RT. Sizzling Sausage is still hanging in there or thereabouts. The gap's only 1.1 seconds between the two, so he's doing a commendable job of keeping pace with him. Budsy back in P6. Gap is down to just over 2 seconds between himself and Sausage, so he's certainly making progress. May not be as fast as he would like, but his last few laps have been stupidly consistent. There's been a 47.63, 47.99, 47.60, 47.61, 47.86, 47.65, 47.90. Budsy just human metronome at the moment.
Human metronome. I mean, from when I did this race last week, at this point of the race, this is where you really find your rhythm, and you're just able to put in those lap after lap. Because it's quite a fairly simple circuit, Monza. Straight, heavy braking zone, straight, heavy braking zone, etc. So finding the rhythm, especially after about 90 minutes that we're coming up to, you do start to find the rhythm, and when you find yourself in no man's land chasing down somebody that's a couple of seconds ahead, you really do start to see the apexes as absolutely massive, and you're able to hit them time after time after time, which is nice.
How's everyone's fuel and tyres looking there, Spitzy?
We haven't had an update for a while, so let's have a look. Prima, he's looking just over a quarter of a tank. His left tyres are definitely doing worse than his right ones. I think probably about 10% difference between two fronts. Rear's probably about 5% between those two. Let's see, Excel, he's just under a quarter of a tank. Pretty similar tyre wear rates to GTR in terms of like difference between the front two and the rear two, although his tyres are, you know, a few percent lower than the leader. Let's have a look. This wood, just over a quarter of a tank. Tyre wears doing a
GTR!
pretty similar to GTR.
GTR's
no!
Oh, sorry to interrupt that tyre and fuel update there.
That's not gone well for GTR. He's hit the wall through a scurry. He had a massive tape slapper, and it ended in the wall. Rear damage on that black light BMW, but
let's
that
have a look
halved.
at the action replay and see if we can see what has happened there.
So 13-second gap, back down to 6 seconds.
Into Ascari. Oh, yep, not a lot of grip out there. Oh, has seriously collected that right-hand wall, but manages to keep it pointed in the right direction, which I think was the crucial thing in that incident, because otherwise he would have lost a bucket load more time.
Yeah, keeping it pointing the right direction. Huge props to GTR. That was... I think Blacklight might need to change the seat for next race, as might be a few stains on the chair.
Yeah. Definitely a clean up in aisle 3. But it hasn't done too much damage to his race lead at the moment. The gap was about 9 seconds earlier?
Was that 13 seconds, and now
Okay,
it's 6.5.
right.
So it has halved, but 6.5 is still very comfortable.
Yes. Sorry, the last time I checked in on that race gap, it was, 9 and a bit seconds. So, alright. Don't mind me. So, back to Excel. I was keeping an eye on him because I was just see, Accountant is more than holding him at bay here at the moment, running very consistent pace, and annoyingly so, because those blue flags are still out and waving for what seems like, at least 10 laps. So that would, if that was me, that would just be annoying the heck out of me to the point where I would almost lift off and let the guy go past just to get rid of them. I don't know if I'd actually do it or not, but the thought would definitely be crossing my mind.
So Excel's still not able to overtake the Racing Accountant, as that gap's still pretty much remaining the same at this point in the race. So I'd say Racing Accountant's found his rhythm after his incidents earlier in the race, and now he's able to keep front-running pace at this stage of the race, which is kind of funny. Woody has actually closed that gap up to Excel a second or two. So Woody's doing all right, but with 15 laps left, maybe too little too late, unfortunately.
And we have just recently been given permission in the YouTube chat by the stranger, who has informed us that it is now 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it is. You know what that means?
Garlic chocolate?
No.
What does it mean?
It means that we can say a few extra euphemisms that may not be PG-13.
Excellent, excellent. Not that we would ever say things like that,
Not saying them, just implying them.
Ah, okay.
Which it also means that we can read out Stranger's comment from about 20 minutes ago, when he said that Gur likes a gap, whatever that means.
Ah, yes, he is quite the fan of a nice gap.
Buck teeth, I hear he likes.
I'm not sure if that's a gap or an angle issue.
I don't know. Well, there's a poll we can put up in the chat.
Don't we all like a good angle as well?
All right, let's ask the question.
Oh boy.
Are buck teeth a gap or an angle? So GTR has also picked up a half-second penalty here, and he had massive troubles through the first Lesmo there.
Sizzling Sausage and Buzzy, still partners in crime, running P5, P6 respectively. Gaps sort of fluctuating around the 1.5 to 2 second mark. Blind Man, running a solid race, P7. Gur, also having a very solid, albeit quiet race in P8.
So I think we might see GTR in this lap as well, lap 52.
He hasn't done anything spectacular that I've seen, but hasn't done anything disastrous either. But I kind of get the feeling he might just be happy to hang up the helmet, the racing helmet, at the end of tonight, and relax with a nice beverage of choice. racing
So
account into the pit.
GTR's gone around for one more lap as well. So does Excel. Will Woody go around again? Yes, he does. So I'd imagine most of these guys will see him in on lap 53, which will be 13 laps till the end of the race.
Artsy
Sausage
goes
is
around
in.
again. The
Budsy
sausage is
goes
the first to
around.
blink.
Do
Blind
sausages
man.
blink?
This one does. And they did in Sausage Party. They did a lot more than blink in Sausage Party, let's be honest. Blind man into the pits, and I believe this will be his last pit stop with 13, maybe 14 lap stint to finish it off. So he's caught himself back up the schedule.
I'll tell you what though, Sizzling Sausage can finish this off in a P5, or dare I say a P4 finish. There'll definitely be a sausage party down at the Black Rose Garage tonight. Absolute scenes.
Gurr's into the pits as well. Bumcrack into the pits as well. Bumcrack not in the pits at the same time as Sausage. Always a good thing. This is what
So I
happens
think
after
those
9
guys-
o'clock. I can say those sorts of things consciously.
I think those guys will be pitting that lap earlier because I think they're only expecting 65 laps. I don't think they're going to make it. So GTR into the pits. Excel will be the next follow. I think we'll see a max exodus of pitting. Woody will need next. 13 seconds is the gap to Excel. So don't discount Woody either. He is
That
in
gap
the
has
mix here
come
as
down
well.
a bit. That gap has come down a few seconds.
Artsy in. Budsy will be in. And now we need to monitor the gap between Sausage and Artsy on exit.
So
So GTR comes out.
is just coming into the braking zone of Alberto now.
So Excel is actually close on pit exit with the accountant there, who is slotsing just behind.
Sausages cross the finish line now.
So Artsy has well and truly covered him off. And Sausage will confidently get Budsy.
Bang. Now he did have a 2-second gap over Budsy going into that pit stop, I do believe. So Budsy has managed to take half a second off that gap.
So now that everybody's pit, we have 12 and a half laps left to go. And fuel-wise, the most fuel of anyone is Gurr and Blind Man, who each have bang on 75%. Next will be Woody, who's got about 73. Excel's got the least out of anyone, and GTR has slightly more.
So we'll just do a quick tyre and fuel update. Yeah, they've all got heaps of fuel and the tyres are brand new. Moving along. Right, thank you very much there for that tyre and fuel update.
But what that means with GTR 9 seconds ahead at the moment, Excel is slightly fuel compromised, or more fuel compromised than GTR is. I've no doubt that Excel will make it till the end, but I just think that even if he was to catch up to GTR, the amount of extra fuel that GTR has is just too much for Excel to try and fight against. So I think that's the end of Excel's chances of a race win, but by no account is P2 a bad result. This is an absolutely magnificent result for Dadson Racing and CDXL.
As GTR goes purple. Oh, but has a big slide into... My brain has decided to stop working. Della Roggia.
It's a long race. 20 minutes to go in this one.
Where's that rubber mallet I used on the timing gear earlier? I need to use it to tap my brain back into functioning.
So here's the thing. Excel is touch and go on fuel. He can't push anymore. Woody's got 14 seconds, but he does have about 15% extra fuel.
And
So
he
if it
does
came
have,
down to it,
he does have an
Woody
arty
does-
3 seconds behind him as well. So
who
he
is
can't
almost
drop
on the same
pace.
fuel.
So Woody can't afford to just back off and bring the car home. He's got to keep pushing just that little bit. He's got to keep an eye on that gap, which has just come down a tenth or two.
Artsy! 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 Oh!
That sounds like someone got a little bit excited, so I'm going to have a look at that on the Liquid Solutions action replay. And I do mean the racing on the replay.
He went 3.5 tenths purple into a Scari and then lost it all immediately.
That sounds like something I would do. Oh my god, I'm purple! Oh no! Whoa, that's a very nice piece of car control there. Also,
And he had a
possible
similar
code
moment
brown.
at Parabolica as well.
So that has given Woody just that little bit more breathing space, and is probably dangling a carrot in front of Sausage in P5 at the moment. He can't afford to get too cute either, because Buds is slowly chipping away at that gap, which is down to 1.2 seconds. As
If
Sausage
Artsy
goes
makes another
purple in the first
mistake-
sector, again.
If Artsy makes another mistake and gives Slipstream to Sizzling Sausage, that's gonna go a long way in this Budsy Sausage battle.
Most definitely. While there are some significant gaps between drivers on track, those drivers who are within close visual range of another driver certainly have every opportunity to make up another spot in the finishing order.
Prima has just gone purple again, 146.41, new best lap.
Are you,
What on earth?
GDR, are you okay?
I think they just activated the nitrous down at the Blacklight Garage, because that is a belter of a lap. I believe that's quicker than the fastest lap in the Div 1 race.
I think
This is a-
we need to send the scrutineers down to the Blacklight Garage just to inspect for any nitrous bottles in the boot of that car, because that is ridiculous.
GTR just showing once again that he is one of the best in Sector 1. Really finding his rhythm here in the Enduro. I told you that once the sun starts to set, the temperature's lower, the lap times will come down with it. And what a lap that is for GTR, 46.4.
And what has gone back up
Disgustingly quick.
is that gap back to Excel. It is now back into the realms of 12 seconds, so he's managed to, well, after his gap, his lead had halved, he's managed to double it back again. Almost. Almost.
Stella's 2 tenths up on his best time as well here too. Let's see how he does on the run down towards Albert.
Gets on the power nicely. Oh, I think it'll be a low 40. Go. Just. 46.288. Ladies and gentlemen. I am genuinely speechless.
Before this round, I teased the idea of a 45 lap time. It didn't happen in Div 1. Div 1 were quite a way away. I did not expect it to come in Div 2. Will we see a 45 today? Come on, GTR. He's 2 tenths up. This could be it. We could genuinely see a 45 race lap.
Oh, don't jinx it.
We got a ride on board, Carbon Boy. Let's watch this one.
Very well.
This is like a qualifying trim lap. He is revving it out as well. He wants this 45. He knows it's coming. Down the hill. Under the bridge. What's he gonna be? Into Ascari. This is on!
Shush,
the lap's
shush.
on!
Don't jinx it.
Through
Don't jinx
Ascari!
it.
Oh! On the power! Using all the available track limits!
Shh, just let it happen.
One more corner for GTR. Into Parabolica. Oh, he's lost the rear a little. Oh, he might have thrown it away. Let's see what it's going to be. This is going to be tight. 44, 45, come on. Oh,
Oh, just that
46-2.
one little moment at Alberto cost him. Still a purple lap, but... And I have noticed that the race timer has decided to reset itself back to an hour and 13 minutes to go, which is definitely not correct.
we're just inside 13 minutes to go in this one. GTR's gone for another attempt here. Oh, big slide through De La Roja. Might be the lap done already. Those tyres not looking too healthy. May have already cooked them with a 45 attempt. But he's not too far away from his lap time. We'll have to wait and see what the damage is from that small slide. He approaches Ascari. What's the sector split? Oh, he's down by 8 tenths. Okay, that is a lot of damage.
Yeah, that hurt a lot, I think. I think that previous lap might have just been his best shot at cracking into the 45s.
If he gets Parabolica right, though, he could still be in the 46s on this lap, which is quite impressive.
Excel's doing a great job just holding station in P2. Just banging out very consistent laps at this stage.
Yet to drop into the 46s Excel. His fastest lap currently sitting at a 47.1. What can he do this lap? Oh, he's going to be out.
Woody in P3, the gap back to RC's come down to 2.7 seconds. It's coming down slowly, but it is coming down. Artie himself has a semi-comfortable 3.7 second gap back to Sizzling Sausage in P5, who now has a Buzzy 3 tenths off his rear bumper, so we might just stick with this for a little bit and see what happens, what develops here.
Nice flamage shooting out the sides of those two BMWs.
Can anyone tell me if the Black Rose and the RMR garages are right next to each other in pit lane or not? Because I kind of get the feeling we're going to need a crowbar to separate these two. They've just been stuck together like glue for the entire of this race. Save for, you know, pit stops and whatnot, but...
Absolutely.
2 hours
no.
and several tenths separate them.
The Red Mist and Black Rose garage are about 100 meters apart, as the garage order is determined by the team's championship from the previous season. Red Mist were 3rd and Black Rose were 7th, so there's a couple of garages between them. So that's the only way we're going to separate these two.
Once they park up the cars at the end of this race, that'll be the furthest they've been apart for the entire 2 hours. As Budsy is right on the rear, looks to the outside around Alberto. It's brave.
Oh, this is brave. Sizzling Sausage, he looks for the switchback. Oh, loses the rear. Huge correction. He's not going to get the run he wanted. Still playing catch up. 2/10 the gap. That gap starts to come down. Sizzling Sausage, he's got to choose his line. Bit of a flash from Budsy. A little bit of mind games. Tries the long way round. The outside will become the inside, but Sizzling Sausage covers it off beautifully. Takes both apexes. Shuts the door before Budsy can even get a chance to get alongside.
1 hour, 51 minutes, and these guys are still battling like it's the second lap.
Absolutely. As they head down towards Della Roggia. As Budsy keeping it in 5th gear. Talk about using all of the revs. Into Lesmo 1. 3/10 the gap currently. Lesmo 2. Gap holds the same. Oh, huge moment from Sausage. That leaves him vulnerable into Ascari. 2.5 tenths. 2 tenths. Can Budsy pull alongside? Sizzling Sausage plants his car right in the middle of the track. That might leave him vulnerable. A little bit of a love tap from Budsy on Sausage. Oh, a little bit of dirty air affecting Budsy there. Missed the last apex, and he's going to be playing catch-up down the final straight towards Albert.
You don't want to tap the sausage too hard.
Might end up with some bruising. Budsy, confident run out of Parabolica. Closer than he was last lap. He's got the overspeed. It's going to be a drag race down towards Redifio. Looks like Sausage has got the legs. This is a running Sausage. Deep under brakes. Budsy closer than he was last lap. Sausage runs deep. He's going to take the other apex. Budsy looking for a sway path, but it doesn't quite open up. He's going to have to settle in for now.
That was very tight there through Redifilio.
Yeah, Sausage ran deep. Claimed both apexes. Budsy got the switch back on him, but then got left high and dry. There was no grip out there.
He's just
Sausage deep! Leaves himself vulnerable into the first Lesmo. Sausage tight. Oh, a little bit of contact. Rubbing is racing through the first Lesmo. Sausage, beautiful defense here. Into the second Lesmo. On the power now, the gap 2 tenths.
Goes defensive
Budsy.
early.
He's going to try around the outside at Ascari. This is going to be a tough ask. Can't quite get it done. Does Sizzling Sausage run deep? No, he doesn't. Beautiful under brakes. Budsy's still looking for a way through.
I believe that
He is...
Morse code on the rear bumper is translated as hurry up and move. Well, there's some ducking and weaving there. Looks to the
Budsy
outside
is
around
looking.
Alberto again.
He's looking for the room, but it just doesn't exist. Sausage showing superb defense. He's going to get him around the outside.
Oh, a little
Gets
bit of a
just
squeeze.
enough width on the track, on the edge of the track. Sausage, he's left vulnerable once again. Goes full defense. Down towards Redifio. He's closer than he was last lap, Budsy. Deep under brake. Sausage has outbroke himself this time. Oh, contact!
Oh!
It's all going wrong. And
yeah.
Sausage is going to let Budsy through with 3 laps left to go.
Well, that was building up for 3 laps. Eventually something
Don't-
had to give.
Don't take a breath just yet, because Woody and Artsy is shaping up as well. Similar gaps to what we just saw between Budsy and Sizzling Sausage, except this one is for the championship fight.
Oh, wow. Seriously? An hour and 50-something minutes, you know, fairly quiet for a lot of it, and then you guys just absolutely kick off in the last 10 minutes. Right.
Absolutely.
Don't mind if we do.
These guys have identical cars, same fuel, same tyres. Artsy runs deep into Ascari, might pick up a penalty. He went over the white line there with all 4 tyres. Huge slide, car control, keeps it pointing in the right direction. Woody breaking the toe a little bit, a slight little bit of weaving.
Got away without a penalty there. Fairly lucky, I would imagine. The track limits here can be fairly brutal.
No danger of an apex there for Artsy. Through Albert for the 63rd time. 5 minutes left on the clock. Still within touching distance of Woodsy. Into Redifio now. Closes up a lot there. Artsy manages to get the power down too. That's a huge chunk of time taken out of the CP car there. 5.5 tenths. 5 tenths this slipstream. Proving absolutely crucial in Artsy's race. Can he get onto the podium? Can Woody hold on?
He certainly wants it. And Artsy's purple.
Oh, runs deep. That's not ideal. He's going to lose a chunk of time there. Gap opens up back to 9 tenths. Where he started at the start of the lap. Running wide there. Car doesn't want to turn. Huge moment for Woody. Manages to hold on to it. And now, quite crucially, Woody has opened up beyond slipstream range.
He's done very, very well there to absorb the pressure that was being put on him by Artsy. He's held his nerve, kept his cool. Insert cliche here. And has managed to keep himself just out of danger for now. Just under 3 minutes to go.
Artsy.
So they'll get, I do believe they will get a 66th lap.
Yeah, these front guys will definitely get one. But it'll be touch and go for, it'll actually be touch and go for Artsy.
Artsy had a very interesting exit to entry to Alberto there. Just ran a little bit deep and wide under brakes. So that has certainly given Woody a little more breathing space to the tune of 1.4 seconds. This is a fairly impressive drive tonight by Woody after an earlier setback. Lost a few positions, lost a bit of momentum, but has kept his head down, soldiered on, again, insert cliche here, and has managed to claw his way back onto the final step of the podium at this point. With 1.5 laps to go after nearly 2 hours here at the Temple of Speed of Monza.
Just 6 kilometers left to go for GTR as he arrives to Albert for the penultimate time of the 2-hour enduro. 18 seconds to the good. He'll have one more crack around this 6-kilometer circuit.
Must have had a little bit of moment on that lap with a 148.1. Or the tyres are completely cooked. Possibly both. Excel coming across the finish line for the final time. Or second last time, sorry.
So I believe the first of the finishers will be Blind Man. Everyone else will get another lap ahead of him. And Blind Man, Gur, Bumcrack, and the Accountant will only go as far as 55 laps. 65 laps, I should say.
Sizzling Sausage just had another little bit of a moment on his own. He's dropped off the back of Buzzy to the tune of 4 and a bit seconds.
Oh, huge moment for Blind Man. Loses the rear through Ascari, but manages to keep it on the track.
Let's have a quick look at the replay of that one.
Gotta make it a quick one as they're approaching the start-finish line. As we do have confirmation, this will be the final lap of the race. Oh, Blind struggling for grip. As he comes to the start-finish line, he'll be the first to finish this evening.
And GDR is coming around behind quite a few back markers. Onto the
What
main
a drive
straight
from GTR.
for the win
Magnificent
here
stuff.
at Monza.
Beautiful stuff for GTR, well deserved. Drove absolutely perfectly, made the move,
And
set a
Excel
beautiful fastest lap.
putting in an absolutely astonishing drive tonight. Very happy light flash to him as he comes across the line, claiming P2 with a slight moment.
Oh, Woody lining up the rears through Parabolica. He's happy with this one. CP claim another podium. He's what's the word?
Thanks, slapping.
Yes. Fishtailing
P4,
his way down the straight. Budsy in 5th. That's a great drive for him. Sizzling Sausage, equally as impressive as the 3 stand-in drivers. Crosses the line. And that is everyone for tonight.
So P7, Blind Man. Oh, actually, I'll just run over the results. How about we do that and make things a whole bunch easier? Wow. People in the chat, throw in your Driver of the Day nominations, please, while we take a quick look over the race results.
Also, just quickly, 75% of people have agreed with me. Buck teeth are an angle.
Well, you said they were a gap, so they would be agreeing with me.
No, sorry, it's a gap. What am I? Yeah, 75% said gap, 25% said angle. Yeah.
Right.
All right, what do you say we do a run through of the race results there, Carbon Boy?
Sounds good to me. I still say that's okay. It's fine to have a wrong opinion. Alright, so our race results tonight. P1 GTR also collecting absolutely astonishing fastest lap. I'm still struggling to comprehend that. P2 for XL for Datsun Racing. P3 Biswood for CP Motorsports on an absolute cracker of a comeback drive. P4 Thunder Artsy for Symmetry Motorsports. P5 for Budsy filling in tonight for Red Mist Racing. P6 Sizzling Sausage also filling in tonight, but for Black Rose. Blindman P7 for Hume Gurr in P8 for Doghouse Motorsport. God, I nearly said something else and he would never let me forget it if I did. Alright, P9 the Plumber for Kraken Esports, P10 the Taxman for Symmetry, and unfortunately with a DNF tonight for his Odes. Haven't heard any reports from the pit lane garage on the exact fate of the car, but something failed catastrophically, so it's fair to say the engineers and the mechanics are going to have a night tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of damage on that car, unfortunately.
So, you've been a bit quiet for a while there, Spitzy. Driver of the day for you.
My pick is probably going to be... Oh, who is my pop? Excel. I'm going to say Excel. Coming from... He's Division 3, I believe?
Correct.
Yes, coming from... Yeah, Division 3, going up a division, managing to show... Yeah, you know, second place, you know, quite... Sorry, I'm a bit lost for words here. I'm just going to say he's done really well to, yeah, get second place, upper division. Like, he's shown he can drive. You know, I'm proud of the guy. I'm proud of the kid.
Yeah, Excel, this is his second fill-in Div 2 for the season. first coming at Brands Hatch. He just missed out on a podium there, P4, and now to come in for an Enduro and finish second place. That is absolutely incredible stuff from Excel. He gets my drive of the day as well.
I'm going to go against the grain because I like doing
Of course
that.
you do.
It's fun. My driver of the day nomination is Sizzling Sausage for
That's a good shout as well.
similar reasons. Stepping up a division and more than holding his own, finishing in P6. So that's my justification for that driver of the day nomination. However, looking through the YouTube chat,
We've got a poll up at the moment. We have 67% for Excel at the moment, 33% for Woody, and none for anybody else.
well, I'm not going off your poll. I am going off the comments.
Oh.
Yeah. So we've got Evolution Sim Racing, Excel Driver of the Day, The Stranger, also Excel Driver of the Day. Dadson, aka the Prospector, aka Old Gold, Driver of the Day for Excel. Heathy can't make up his mind here. He wants to three-way Driver of the Day with nominations for Excel, Budsy, and Artsy. Debrev, Driver of the Day Excel. Alright, so what is your poll telling us?
Same.
Alright, we're just going to call it there. Excel, Driver of the Day. I knew I was going to be wrong, but I'm going against the grain anyway. I don't care.
It's a good shout. I mean, all the fill-in drivers did an absolutely phenomenal job. All of our fill-ins finishing in the top 6. That's just crazy, just to think about.
Yeah,
2 of the 3
it
in the
is.
top 5.
And I've got
I
a race
mean,
against them
wow.
next week, so I'd really rather
Yeah.
not think about it, to be honest.
Which that's a preview of what's to come next week. If Excel's performing in Div 2 like that, how's he going to perform in Div 3? Watch out, Division 3, that's for
Alright,
sure.
everyone in Div 3, get practicing and buckle up, boys, because it's going to be a rough round.
Did you say buck?
Buckle up.
Buck teeth?
Gap teeth. Anyway, for those of you still watching, thank you very much for tuning in with us tonight for the Division 2 Enduro at Monza. Please stick around for us again. Well, don't stick around, you're free to go. But please join us again next week for the Division 3 race again here at Monza. Hopefully it will be every bit as entertaining as tonight's race was. I'd also like to say thank you very much to our race director tonight, Spitzy, and our special guest pit lane commentator, Lenosis. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on comms tonight. It's been a pleasure.
Of course, thank you.
Thanks for having us. It was good fun to watch. Lots of battles on track. Love to see it.
Yeah, some of them just took a while to eventually happen, but that's okay. I will never complain about a battle actually happening. Well, I'm not going to waffle on because I have had a very long day and I'm a little bit tired, as you might be able to tell. So, again, thank you for joining in. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe. There's a link to our Discord in the video description if you wish to jump into the racing action here at Sector 1. And until next time, be good or be good at it.